We've got Shelley Moore Capito with us right now. She's not at the big game. Crucial player on a couple of big things that are happening from West Virginia, the Republican senator there. She's had a chance to meet a good many of the candidates for Donald Trump's cabinet. So, Senator, very good to see you and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
I did want to get your sense of who you like, maybe if there's anyone you don't like.
Well, I think I have met several, certainly Pete Hegseth. I just saw Sean Duffy before I left town, Brooke Rollins. I mean, I could go through the list. I think all of them are well prepared for leading the respective agencies that they have. Tough questioning for some. That I saw Kash Patel ask about some of the public statements that he's made and where he would like to take the FBI. Certainly in my space where I do a lot of work, Lee Zeldin is going to be a great EPA administrator, and I think he will be overwhelmingly affirmed once we begin that process and after he comes before our committee. So, I'm one of those who believes the president should have his team, but I also believe that the Senate has the advice and consent duties, and that's what I've been fulfilling. So I'm learning more about a lot of these that I didn't know, and so we'll see as they move through committee and after the FBI checks are completed, see how these roll out.
Well, Senator, you're better at the math than I am when it comes to confirming someone for any cabinet post. Can't lose any more than 4 Republicans, assuming all the Democrats vote against them. Is it your sense that Pete Hegseth will not lose any more than 4 Republicans?
Well, I think really what's going to be critical there is the testimony that he has in front of the committee. And I think that will determine if he gets out of committee. I think if he gets out of committee, which I expect him to, I don't think he'll lose any more than 4 unless, something arises in the background check that hasn't previously been disclosed. So he's worked hard talking to a lot of people. He has the same vision for the DOD that President Trump has, a strong warfighting position, strength, let's get rid of all the other things that have been diverting DEI and other things that are diverting our military, and let's move forward with building a force that's going to be lethal, because that's what we're going to need. And that's where his area of emphasis is. He served for 20 years. He has a lot of good experience there.
Is there any pressure? We hear all these rampant reports, Senator, that some of your colleagues are under enormous pressure from big supporters of Donald Trump, not exactly coming directly from Donald Trump, that they might be primaried if they don't, vote for these choices. What do you make of that?
Here's what I would say to that. There's 53 Republicans. All of us got there by the strength of our own character, our campaigns, and our ability to make decisions regardless of where the pressure points may be. And so I think if the pressure campaigns, and I've actually seen some of this obviously in the public domain, might even strengthen your resolve to go the other way. We're independent people. We are able to make our own decision. At the core of us, we believe that President Trump needs to have his own team. So let us move forward with our responsibilities as the Senate. I think the results will be good, and the president will hit the ground running after January 20th.
But do you think, not you particularly, Senator, if you vote against, let's say, one of these candidates, one of the more controversial ones, that it's going to come back to bite you, that you might be primaried? That some of your colleagues are saying the same thing. My gosh, I'm going by my gut, and now all of a sudden I'm going to be primaried because I did if I don't support this person.
Honestly, we just won an election where the Republicans took the House, the Senate, and the president overwhelmingly. Why in the world are we shooting at each other and trying to divide another and threaten primaries? I think it's a useless exercise, quite frankly. I think what we should be doing is formulating how we're going to get tax reform, how we're going to close the border, how we're going to make better economic decisions, all the things that people voted on. So I hope this all dissipates as we turn the corner into the new year. And, threats of primary, you get that threat every time you're up for election. So to us, those of us who run all the time, it's just kind of in the course of doing our business.
All right. Part of that business is extending the president's tax cuts. They expire at the end of the year. We still have a ways to go. And the next year, I should say, Senator. What is your sense of the timing of that? We're told border first. Now, obviously, you guys can talk and chew gum at the same time. I get that. But the priority seems to be the border first. But can you enlighten us?
Well, I believe, and our leader who's coming in, John Thune, has put forward a plan where we might have a two-step process here, where we have border, we have defense, and we have other things that we can do quickly that we know will move much quicker. Tax reform is much more complicated and doesn't expire until the end of 26, some of the tax relief that we passed and I voted for in 2017. So I think the theory here is to get a win on the board, to show the American people border is number one, energy is important, and our defense is important, and couple those, have that paid for, and move forward as a team, and then begin to get into the pushes and pulls of tax reform. I like that plan, but I realize it's still up in the air, and I realize that the Speaker of the House has unique challenges there with such a narrow margin.
Right.
But they're working together, and I think that's. I think what you'll see is once the president weighs in, and finally, I think you'll see he wants a win quickly, and I think particularly on the border, and I think that's the best way to get it.
Got it. We'll watch closely. Senator, thank you again.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.